Welcome to Buy or Buy, where we get real about the ownership costs behind the cars you think you want. And today, we're talking about the one that broke the mold, the SUV that proved even a brand as stuffy as Bentley would eventually chase that big SUV paycheck, the Bentayga. Let's just kick things off with a quote that's, well, it's less of a joke and more of a painful truth. Because when a car loses this much of its value this fast, it's not just appreciation, my friends. It is a giant, flashing, red warning light. And today, we're going to see what it's warning us about. And this is the siren song, isn't it? $250,000 of pure, unadulterated status now selling for the price of a nicely equipped Audi. It just seems too good to be true. So you have to ask yourself, is this the deal of a lifetime, or is it a beautiful, hand-stitched, leather-wrapped financial trap? All right, let's peel back the layers. To really understand the Bentayga, you've got to look past that iconic grille, past the flawless paint. Because what's underneath that gorgeous, hand-polished skin? Well, it's got a family secret it shares with some much more common cars. That's right, the bones of this $250,000 Bentley are the exact same Volkswagen Group architecture you'll find under an Audi Q7, a Porsche Cayenne, and yep, even the Lamborghini Urus. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant piece of engineering, but it is not bespoke to Bentley. And this is where the math just gets kind of wild. We're talking about the same fundamental building blocks, the same core structure, same basic architecture. So the big question is, are those flying B-wings on the hood really worth an extra $100,000? Because fundamentally, you're buying the same engineering that comes with 4 rings. Okay, so if the platform is shared, maybe this special sauce is in the engine, right? Well, let's talk about that. Bentley gave you 3 choices here, and it's kind of like choosing your own financial adventure, or maybe misadventure. Each one has its own very expensive personality. So the headliner, the one everyone talks about, is this magnificent 6.0-liter twin-turbo W12. And honestly, it's an engineering marvel. They squeezed 12 cylinders into the space of a V8, 600 horsepower, just effortless. But, and this is a huge but, that genius packaging creates a brutal, inescapable problem: heat. And all that incredible heat has nowhere to go. It just sits there and bakes everything in the engine bay. We're talking it cooks rubber vacuum hoses till they're brittle and crack, it fries the seals on the turbos, causing oil leaks, and in a worst-case scenario, it can lead to head gasket failure, an engine-out job that can run you 15 grand. Ouch. So you're thinking, okay, no way am I dealing with that W12 madness. I'll be smart about it. I'll get the 4.0-liter V8. And on paper, it's a fantastic choice. It's the same powerhouse you'll find in an Audi RS6 or a Lamborghini Urus. It sounds amazing, it's plenty fast, so what could possibly go wrong? Well, unfortunately, it brings along some of its family's bad habits. This V8 is notorious for developing coolant leaks from pipes buried deep in the hot V-valley of the engine. Plus, since it's direct injected, you're on the hook for a pretty expensive carbon cleaning service every 60,000 miles or so. All right, so the W12 is too hot, the V8 leaks. Maybe the V6 hybrid is the answer. The modern, efficient choice. You get that silent electric mode for cruising around town, but, and I think you see the pattern here, you're really just bolting an entirely new, incredibly complex, high-voltage system on top of a vehicle that is already, well, incredibly complex. So here's the bottom line on the engines. You're not really dodging a bullet here. You're just choosing which very, very expensive bullet you'd prefer to be hit with. The W12 cooks itself, the V8 springs leaks, and the hybrid adds a whole new dimension of electrical risk. And you know what? The engine is just the opening act in this financial tragedy. The real pain, the death by 1,000 cuts, comes from everything else attached to this vehicle. This car is an absolute masterclass in how to drain a bank account one system failure at a time. Let's talk about that magic carpet ride. The air suspension is amazing until it isn't. And trust me, its failure is a when, not an if. The rubber air springs will eventually crack and leak. But here's the kicker. Even though it's basically the same part as on an Audi Q7, you're going to pay the Bentley tax. We're talking over $2,500 per corner. Go ahead and do the math on that. And it just keeps coming. This is a 5,300-pound SUV, and stopping it just chews through brakes. I mean, there are actual government complaints about needing new front brake pads after only 5,000 miles. The infotainment on early cars loves to freeze up, And if you need any of this fixed, good luck. There are only about 50 Bentley dealers in the entire United States. You might need a road trip for an oil change. Oh, and you thought that was bad? Let's say the car you're looking at has the optional carbon ceramic brakes. Are you sitting down for this? The bill to replace those rotors and pads is $40,000. 40. That is literally more than half the value of the entire used car. It's absolutely insane. Okay, I know what you're thinking. After all that doom and gloom, why on earth would anyone buy this car? And look, to be fair, there is a reason. There is a powerful, intoxicating reason people fall into this trap. And it all happens the second you open that heavy, soft-closed door. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, builds an interior like Bentley. This is their ace in the hole. The smell of the quilted leather, the feel of the solid metal switches, the perfectly book-matched wood veneers, it is sublime. It makes even a top-of-the-line Range Rover feel kind of pedestrian. The craftsmanship is just on another planet. Sitting inside a Bentayga isn't just driving, it's an event. It feels special in a way that its German platform mates simply cannot replicate. And man, that feeling is a powerful drug. So, where does that leave us? You've got this stunning, world-class interior and that incredible engine sound, all wrapped around the bones of an Audi and plagued by a financial nightmare of potential repair bills. So let's lay it all out and make the call. When you actually stack it up against its rivals and its cousins, the picture gets crystal clear. Want the performance? A Porsche Cayenne gets you 90% of the way there with a much better dealer network. Want the solid engineering? An Audi Q7 gives you the same foundation with manageable running costs. The Bentayga's repair bills are just in a whole different, much scarier league. So after all of this, does this magnificent, deeply flawed machine make sense for anyone? It really feels like it shouldn't. But believe it or not, there is one very specific person for whom this car is a perfect fit. And that's it. The person who can afford to buy one brand new. For them, it's a fantastic experience because every single one of those terrifying repair bills is covered by the factory warranty. For everyone else, that massive depreciation isn't an opportunity. It's bait. It's a lure into a world of maintenance costs that will absolutely, completely destroy you. So here's the final verdict. The temptation is real. That interior is sublime. But the financial reality of owning this thing out of warranty is just, it's brutal. So do yourself a favor. If you love the engineering, buy a nice Audi Q7. If you crave the performance, get a Porsche Cayenne. Bank the massive difference in cash and go on an amazing vacation. For nearly everyone on planet Earth, the Bentley Bentayga is a hard, definitive buy.